This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. The Gospel of Mark, chapter 12:31 says, "Love thy neighbor as thyself." Does that mean you have to love those that hate queer people? An interesting discussion took place in Reddit's OpenChritian community. The OP was quoting Mark 12:31 and talked about its real meaning. As a modern LGBTQ+ church, we approach the biblical commandment to love thy neighbor as thyself from a perspective of radical love, compassion, and inclusivity. As you can imagine, there was a significant amount of conflict and controversy of loving the ones who most hate and would even try to destroy you. Loving our neighbors, even those who harbor hatred towards queer people, is indeed a challenging aspect of our faith. However, we interpret this commandment as a call to embody unconditional self-love and grace, even in the face of hostility and prejudice. Loving those who may hate or misunderstand us does not mean condoning or accepting their harmful beliefs or actions. Instead, it involves extending empathy while taking care of oneself and firmly standing against discrimination and injustice. Is love a transformative force? Does love win, as our activists point out? If we reject those full of hate, how should we engage with them? On this topic, we draw on the teaching of Jesus to find a proper path. The teaching of love thy neighbor as thyself is incredibly problematic for some in the LGBTQ+ community. Is it possible the Bible just got it wrong? Yes, that is possible. Slaves obey your master. Got it wrong. Now, people always push back on that, and they've got 1,000 reasons why. If you have a single reason why that's okay, I'm not in this conversation with you. So yes, sometimes the Bible gets it wrong. But love your neighbor as yourself, that's not getting it wrong. I think we're getting it wrong. It doesn't mean love yourself and then love everyone as much as you love yourself. As Rabbi Rami Shapiro says, that's more Oprah than Torah. That you should love your neighbor as if they are you. You love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as if they are you. And that's a theological statement about God being one and we all being part of God, that God is really all there is. So the reality expressing in, through, and as me, dealing with you, well, that's reality expressing in, through, and as you. So there's really one thing going on. Love that person like they're you because they are. They are God in expressing just like you are. So love the real them. That has nothing to do with loving their cruelty or their meanness or their rudeness or their selfishness. If they're treating you badly, you don't have to. Jesus from the cross said, forgive them. He didn't thank them. He's like, okay, they're doing a bad thing. They're not operating from their highest and best self. They don't really know what they're doing. So I can be compassionate about that. But he never once said, this is a good thing. I'm glad that this is happening. So yeah, I think love your neighbor as if they're you, as if you are one, as if we are all part and parcel of God. That is important theology. That doesn't have anything to do with being anyone's doormat.
Right.
So Jesus spoke up for those whose voices had been silenced. He cursed out Peter, called him Satan, told him to get away from him. He made a big scene at the temple one day because of people exploiting pilgrims. So Jesus could push back against cruelty or exploitation or injustice, and even while he's doing that, he does understand that fundamentally we are all children of God. And so when people are being ugly and hateful, that's one of the reasons you say cut it out, because you're better than that. You're deep down, you're God, and this isn't what God does. So yes, I can love my neighbor as myself, understanding that they and I are one, and still not thank them for their homophobia. Hello.
Well, I think for me, this is that moment where the Queer God Squad is throwing down the trump card and saying, we dare you to love as Jesus loved. And we dare you to go out and be the example of the teachings of what Jesus taught. And not just take it on face value that, oh, because I do love myself, then I love her. It doesn't work that way. You got to be the example. We are the hands, we're the eyes, we're the body in motion for all that we are taught and that we learn from the teachings of Jesus. And go out and do it. We are the best examples of that. And we shouldn't just take that for granted. So cart thrown down, just go do it. I dare you.
And that's what I was thinking about. I am not a perfect person. There are people out there that I have a great deal of problems with, but I understand that my journey is not their journey, and that God's love is omnipresent. It's just there for everybody, no matter what. I ain't God. And there are times in my life where I don't express myself as nicely as I should. So the lesson for everybody, not just people who oppress us, but the lesson for us is that we've got a bit to go also before we can say that we are truly God-like, and we'll never get there. Not us anyway.
Next up, we are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our Global Fellowship. In 2024, we are going to where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Join Darrell and Kevin and myself as we journey to enjoy the sound of music. Space is extremely limited, so make sure to go to happeningout.travel/sunshine and make your reservation today. Do not delay. Make it happen today.